The following program has been rated GE by the Kenya Film Classification Board. It is therefore suitable for general family viewing.
Hello, viewer. Welcome to Chungu Jamii. My name is Betty. I am your host today, and I am glad to be joined by this gentleman. This entire month, we have been talking about the boy child. Today, as we're getting to the close of the month, just at the middle, somewhere thereabouts, we want to look at the man who is ready to get married. These gentlemen are yet to tell us whether they were men enough to say I do when they did. But first, let them introduce themselves to you so that you know who you are talking to. I'll start with the gentleman on my right.
I'm Edwin Duarte. I run Legacy Wealth. I'm a wealth management specialist. Mm-hmm. Yes. Married for 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Good morning, viewers. My name is Emmanuel Gashanja. I am founder of iVow, which is a organization that seeks to preserve the sanctity of marriage within society. Been married for 19 years this coming March, and I'm excited and honored to be back on the show.
Congratulations.
Good morning, viewers. I'm Samuel Wawero. I'm a family therapist, married for 10 years.
Wow.
Yes.
5, 10, and 19. So somebody carries the day. Another person pulls up, but not in a bad way. So our topic of discussion today, gentlemen, is, are you man enough to say I do? And I would like to start with Samuel. What is the meaning of man enough? And I don't mean like be man enough to say sorry. We're talking about being man enough to say I do. Before we get to what I do actually entails, what is the context within saying I do? Who exactly is man enough?
In response to what you're asking for, I will not give a definite definition as per that question.
Okay.
But I would rather prefer we look at it in terms of the elements that forms or create that person called man enough to say I do. Because to be a man, it's not a question of the physiological formation. It goes beyond that. We are talking about someone who within himself, he carries the element of mentorship. Someone who within himself, he carries the element of a true husband. Someone who in a true fatherhood, a teacher. So all these elements, if you demarcate each and every one and look at, because it's not a question of like a specific quality, because when you go to the society outside here, there is a specific definition that you find being tagged to a man enough.
Yes, yes.
For example, you find people debating and talking about provision. He is not man enough
because he does not
providing. And maybe yet, the handicap could have been the man is not having a job. But right in the house, he's a good educator to his children. He's a good husband. He is a lover. He's all this other stuff. So in reference to that, I am aware and I know there are a lot of notions, definitions that fly in there in our society. And by the way, in asking this, I have the privilege of asking this question to ourselves. In the house, who is the animal? As part of society. Is the man.
The beast is right here.
It's the man, isn't it? But who is the poison? In the house.
Absent. Absent.
Absent. We have the two, and when you look at the two, which is more dangerous? So, meaning, there's that need of looking into the definitions first that are within the society that defines what is a man. But for me, I would say this. Let us look at the key elements that creates and makes that man enough to say I do.
Wow. So people like to single out and just say, we're going to consider if he does not provide, then he's not man enough. Edwin, 5 years ago, you walked down the aisle and said, I do.
Yeah.
I know the lady is happy and very contented to have you for the husband.
Of course, of course.
You know.
Yes.
But like I mentioned, I saw the lyrics of a song Chris had done. And one of the statements he said is that now he's back as man enough. Before then, while he dated or related with this woman, he was just a little boy. When you walk down the aisle, can you say now that you were man enough then?
I think we have to sort of understand that you're always a work in progress.
Okay.
Right? And to say that you're man enough might be a bit of a, it has some form of finality, right? But I believe for you to be able to claim that you're man enough, you have to be willing to say that I am not where I am meant to be tomorrow. But each and every single day, I'm working on myself. If you're willing to say that I haven't learned enough and be a student for life, to be able to work on yourself, never to give up on yourself or your spouse or even your family, I think you're man enough. Each and every single day, you're man enough as long as you're not willing to give up. Yeah.
Cool. Emmanuel, I have seen you officiate a lot of weddings. I have seen you in social media. And running I Vow, I guess you meet all kinds of couples and all kinds of men. When you take them through the process of readiness to get married, do you evaluate and get that this guy is now man enough to say I do? Or you tell them like, chill out?
Well, it's interesting you asked that question. The truth is, I think I'll allude to something Samuel said. The truth is, you may not be man enough in one aspect, but you may be man enough in a different aspect. And that's what I tend to find, and that's what I tend to now encourage the different couples who come and sit to begin now consider this other aspect, which might be lacking within your relationship, so that I can, we can get a more holistic man, because it's true. What Edwin said was very, very true. We're constantly a work in progress. If you asked me when I got married, and I got married young, I got married at 25, just like you did. I got married when I was 25. At that point, I was ready. I mean, I knew this woman is coming and I'm her answer to life. Until I said I do.
The journey began.
You know the phrase we Kenyans like to use, qua ground. Yeah. So when the rubber met the road, then I had to do a lot of growing up, like a lot of growing up. And the man I am today is not the man who I was then. And if you ask the man who I am today, I'll boldly tell you, I was not man enough.
Good.
But I have made it. But I've made it for 19 years. So it's not that I wasn't man enough. It's just compared the two, I was not ready.
I like the way Emmanuel is honest. He cannot compare 19 years ago today and when he got into the marriage. Because in his expectation, it was just like, bring it on. I will deal with it. I can handle it, you know. And then reality on the ground checked in and you're like, what? You mean this is what it was? So man enough, Samuel, who does the measure? Where is the scale where you should stand and measure yourself and say, man, it's not just that already I had my circumcision, you know, because some people, in some cultures, they say, just wait. Once you go through that, you can transition. But then after just that, I mean, putting that aside, where is the scale of measure where a man should stand and say, guys, I think I am enough to say I do. Why are you keeping me out still?
Betty, thank you for your question. The judge is just next to you. The community, the society where you live. And it will begin by the simple comment they'll be phrasing upon you, or they'll be talking about you. The moment you see they are qualifying your lifestyle, They are qualifying how you are handling your family. They are qualifying the kind of children you're having in your house, in their way of living, interaction, everything. There you get to know, and there you get the right answer you're asking for. Okay?
That is after you now transition into marriage.
Yes. Even before you are married. The society is, you know, you're not living on your own.
No.
You're within a people. Okay? And there's what they are looking at you, they are seeing out of you, and there's what they are saying of you.
What is it they're looking for? They are waiting for you to buy some big machine from DT Dobby? No. Some Tumba Toyota?
I would say this. The people, they want that feeling of goodness that comes, that oozes from a person.
Because society is just the most deceptive place that I want to fit in. You know?
Yes.
Unfortunately, like you said, it's right here with me.
Yes.
Society is very judgmental. Society is so much full of condemnation. And society does not give the right judgments as well. Because what society does right now, I don't know what they did to you when you went to your fiance's place then and said, hey guys, I need your daughter. Did they just look at you like, okay, you can have her? I get, did he go to school? Where does he drive? Where does he live? You know, those are the kinds of measurements society is giving to the boy child today. And so it's not easy for a man to get out boldly and confidently and say, I am man enough, because of what society is looking for. And that is what at Chungu we seek to resolve, to put right back in the society. Everybody may have it wrong, but now here, having you guys, we can hack this. What is the right measure? I don't believe society can do this. They have given us the wrong judgment. I don't know if that's what they did to you.
I think I totally agree with you, Betty. I totally agree with you. The wrong measure of you being a man enough is society. Let's give an example, and allow me to use a personal example.
True.
My wife has a nice corporate job. She earns way more than I do. If you put me in society, I am not man enough. Older men will ask me, Sasa, where is she? You need to slap her a little bit so that you put her in line. I need to do, no, it's not what to do. Society is telling me that I'm not man enough because they don't know my circumstance. They don't know where I'm going. But because of what they see, they will tell you that I am not man enough. However, I have been in marriage longer than some people. Or, let me give an example. There's one person in Hollywood who has been married 4 times to my one wife. You know, I've been married to one wife. So that, I don't think should be the marker of who a man enough, you know, who is man enough
to get married. Your wallet is.
Yes.
Doesn't make you man enough.
I think we need to go back, and allow me to do this. I go back to, I believe we were created by God.
Yes.
All right? I believe we were created by God, and I believe God had a plan and an order for us. So my strong belief is that there are 4 elements that I see when I read, you know, the beginning of, you know, the book that he gave us. And the things that I see is, 1, he gave the first man a purpose. So when he created him, he told him, this is what I need you to do. I need you to rule. He gave him work. He was in God's presence and fellowshiped with God. He did all these things. Imagine Adam actually named all the entire species. Before God decided, you're missing somebody. And then out of him, he brought him a partner. So man enough is somebody, one, who is self-aware, understands who he is, knows his identity, and where he's going, and understands who God has created him to be. Now, will not always have the power, strength, wisdom to flow in that. But I believe also to be man enough, you have to be constantly willing to learn, attain knowledge, and apply that knowledge, which is called wisdom, so that you're successful within the space of marriage.
Excellent, excellent. Imagine who does that, who stays in that space where you can see by all means, by all standards, the woman is above just financially, but you still stay in this space as man enough. You must know precisely what man enough is. And it cannot be that it's dictated by your financial status or by the wallet that you carry or by the machine that you push around.
Yeah.
Edwin, talking about man enough, I don't know what your challenge was. You're really pushing against to still insist and stand and say, it is my time.
Well, I think just like Emmanuel pointed out, you have to be courageous enough to he said that society is the wrong measure for us when you're trying to find out whether you're man enough, even for many other things, right? So, but you have to be man enough to decide and to say that I'm going to live my life according to my own terms. Decide this is how I'm going to live my life. He decided that regardless of what society claims that the man has to out-earn the woman, my truth is my wife earns more than I do. And we are happy, right? So you have to be courageous enough to say, this is the line that I want to follow, and this is how I'm going to live my life, and shut out everyone else. And with time, as you're growing towards marriage or saying I do and all that, you start to find that you're changing as a person. The way you carry yourself, you're carrying yourself is going to be very different from the way maybe you were carrying yourself before. Because I remember, yes, because I remember for me, for example, I had friends before, and I remember one of them saying, since Nani came, umebadilika. You get, your friends will even see some subtle changes. You start taking responsibility seriously, right? But it's that choice to decide that this is the path that I want to follow, and being courageous enough to say, regardless of whatever society is saying, I am going to follow it.
I like that woman. I like that woman. One of the challenges that we have today, Edwin, is that the society has put all its resources and power to empower the girl child. And so the girl child knows, when I grow up, this is what I want to be. When I get into the house as a wife, I know what I am supposed to do. It is well stipulated. It's like a constitution that no one has to read out for her. So she knows very well. But on the other side, the boy child is so neglected. No one is preparing the boy child to take up such kinds of responsibilities. And so their belief is, when I get married, it's just a bedroom business. They forget that after the bedroom, there are diapers. There is a second person who's going to be here, or a third person. And so we now need a bigger house. And so now we need convenience, we need a car, and there's so many things, and then relatives from both sides. So no one is preparing the boy child. And I wonder, as they are busy empowering and putting all the energies on the girl child, who is going to marry the girls? The boy who is neglected, who does not know anything? How was it for you, with a mind that they you know everything and you know nothing?
It's a weird question. It's a weird question for me, because I'm a father of 2 girls. I'm trying as much as possible to empower them also. But I think we still don't need to give up on the boy child. Part of what I do also on the side is trying to mentor the young boys who are coming up. That you should, as willing to constantly work hard. There's a role that society has given you, and it's to be the leader. And I realized even in my born by my wife. So you have to and not give up on yourself, consistently trying or working hard to improve yourself, and not to provide that leadership over yourself and even the people who are around you.
You know, you've got to do that, Edwin,
Yes.
because you're a father of girls. So you must prepare the men who are going to come
I
knocking on your door.
am trying to be very conscious.
Emmanuel is the one who...
Maybe, yeah, I have
Three boys,
I have
yes.
3 boys, so for me it has to be intentional.
Yes.
Teaching and telling them.
Yeah.
I think maybe just to add to what Edwin is saying, I really feel when he mentioned leadership, I think leadership has been misconstrued in society. It has been taken to be, I assert authority, I do all that. But leadership is understanding, I know what my strengths are.
Yeah.
I surround myself with the people who are weak in the areas that I am weak in, and I lead them and guide them and sell a vision, and together we go. And that's what being a husband is. A husband is, I create a vision, and I tell my wife, this is where we would like to go. This is what we need to achieve. That's what CEOs do, all right? But the CEO needs a COO, the operations officer, he needs a CFO.
Yeah.
He needs all these people to talk to him and tell him, hey, vision, but the finances, stretching. The COO will tell him, hey, but in operations, if you go this way, this is the result you'll get. If you go this way, this is the result you get. In like manner, you as the husband, you're the CEO of this family.
Yes.
It's important to understand where your strengths are. If it's vision casting, cast the vision. Harness the rest of the family and say, hey, this is where we're going. This is where the prosperity is. This is where we'll achieve success. This is where we'll achieve everything that we as a family would like to leave as a legacy in this world. So it's not about necessarily just asserting authority, which is what a lot of people do. Woman, you have to follow me. Stay at home. Submit to me. She already submitted to you when she said, I do. She already submitted to you when she said, I do. She's giving her life to you. So how can you lead her and guide her so that, one, she's able to follow, but together you're able to achieve the dreams and goals that both of you have set out. I think that is very important, and I think that's what a lot of us men miss out.
Yes.
And we make her the enemy, and the one to be downtrodden, the one who serves me. Yet it's us together achieving this. It's interesting when you read the Bible, when he talks about the Proverbs 31 woman. The Proverbs 31 woman is the very woman that he's empowering today. The woman who will go out and work and do this. She will clean the house. She will take care of the kids. But she brings food to the house. She does a garden. She goes and buys a shamba. So I do not know where this ideology, actually the empowered woman, this woman is created. No, you just have to know how are we going to harness this energy and point it in the right direction so that we can succeed.
Yeah.
Yes. That's
Good.
We are addressing already a product that is to enhance itself into another level together. But I heard you talk about the empowering of girl child, which has really happened. It is really happening. And if you go back, you know when it started. I'll say this. The world, the society, shifted from order to liberalism. And that is what happened. So, more so, you will see we are living in a feministic society. All right, and this society has changed everything to where a man is on the receiving end, being judged, being condemned for A, B, C, D. Meaning, the quality of a man, there's like a checklist that is being used, okay, to tick. So if you score less, then you're not a man enough. All right, but I'll take you back. I shift a bit to the society which was society of order, and I ask, who was rearing children in our society? Were they the fathers or mothers? They were the mothers. The fathers were ever outside there looking for to feed the families, isn't it? So meaning the basic and primary education that used to empower children, that boy child, to start now growing up, taking the shape of a man, was coming from the mother. That of a child, to take that dimension of now taking that route of becoming a woman, was coming from the mother. Because women were the people who used to be the children more time than the men, isn't it? But you can see there's a shift. And this shift is of a blame game. And married being. So what shifted? So what happened? You know, we need to ask ourselves.
The woman got empowered and she got into the corporate world.
So
and
who
left
went
her
to the
role.
wrong place? Who neglected
A
the
responsibility.
and the role? Is it the man? The woman? It's good to ask ourselves this.
If you want to go that way, that you can go down a huge rabbit hole, I feel, because initially how that began, it began with out to war in the First World War. So while the man was out war, the woman had to go to the factories, into the warehouses to fix it. And I think that's where the original
And it
began.
stuck.
And that's what stuck.
Yes.
Because now the woman has to provide for the house because the man, he's gone. We don't know if he's going to come back, but we still need food. We still need this. So by the time he came back, his place was taken. The ones who were able to come back, his place is taken. So now the very purpose that was given to him is now lost on him. He does not know what to do with himself. So now this begins the degradation of society. All right?
And then as we grew up, we lacked the mentors to now restore that which was lost.
The men didn't take their place, which their place was to, instill the values.
Yes.
In as much as the woman will teach and do all those, the man is the one who instills value. Just think about it in your home. Dad, he was rarely there, but when he showed up and he spoke, that was law.
Yes.
But he was not there.
But
when he showed up, he was law. And what he said and the things that he said for the family were what were law. But then now this has been eradicated and taken away from him. Because now the woman is going to work like the man would, or what the man was doing.
Yes.
And she's speaking and saying things in the house because now she has authority and she has some form of power. So I think then society began to degrade. But I don't think this should be used as an excuse because these men, for example, Edwin. Edwin is taken his place. Edwin is very intentional with his children. I've seen him. I am intentional with my children. I am assuming you are intentional with your children. It's because we haven't related. But if there are men like this who are taking our place, then we are changing entire generations. And I feel like there's a generation of men who are growing and actually taking up this place. And we won't see it now, but our children's children will begin to see that restoration where there's men who are actually passing on values and systems of what it means to be a man, what it means to be a husband, what it means to be a leader within society and to live within society. And hopefully it's going to transform. And as you can see, he's a family therapist.
I believe
so he is working on it.
Actually, as a family therapist, Samuel, the boy child I'd mentioned earlier has really been neglected. A lot of people are concentrating on the girl child. But I want to appreciate a few people like Rosemary of Abnet, the Afboy Child Network, who's doing a very great job now trying to restore the boy back to his place. Now, look at this boy, their responsibilities. When you say I do, I mean, it's not just walking into a house with what? I think I come with responsibilities. Are you able to take us through what responsibilities or what is the content of saying I do? Because a lot of people say I do, but they're like, hey, I didn't know it was this hot. In my view, when you say I do, you probably have seen many women or none, but you're now walking into this decision of saying I do to this one. So we're not expecting you to start chasing after others because you have said I do. Please tell us, what is it you need to know that comes with this word I do? What is enclosed in it?
Thank you, Betty, for the question. And I would say that I have had a privilege in continuity whereby parents have surrendered their sons I'm very specific here, to me, whereby they have said, make a man. There is an oncoming generation, in it, a new face of men that the society is crying for today. That hope, I'll tell you for free.
Thank you.
That
Thank
hope
you.
is there.
Thank you.
Okay? And the question is, we are having so many men outside. You only need a single trigger of this all you need to hear, to know, and they act out. Because maybe, I don't know where they're coming from, they just missed that which connect them to what they desire. Because there's no man who does not desire. He is a man, and he is appreciated within himself, in hearing of either from the wife, the children, the friends, with the word, you are a man. There is no man who does not want, everyone, they desire to hear that voice, that word. But maybe what lacks is how to activate that which is sleeping in them, and they do not know. Now, you have asked about what needs. Yes, I remember when I was doing my wedding. And I remember the pastor who was taking us through that preparation. He gave us a very simple exercise and told us, take a piece of paper and write down what you want. And I put it, for a man, desire in yourself to be a true husband. Okay? And a true husband is that person that was being defined here, that your wife will delight in. Your wife will long for the day to come to an end, to come and meet, to come and talk to come and, you see, and you see when that is happening, there is already a relation, you know, which now leads to communication. All right, to be this man you are looking for, one who is willing to learn, not know it all, one who can take ideas, whether from an elder son, a wife, or anybody, one who is willing to, but not know it all. All right, a mentor, one who can be associated with, you know, people can come and say, you see, be like so and so. For example, as much as I am married for 10 years, my firstborn is 20 years this year, and he's a young man. And in him, I would say, I'm seeing a man, whatever he can be. Reason being, I was able, maybe what I give today is not what I received from my father. But because there's something I have said, no man who does not have that desire of want to be a man, okay? But maybe I got the opportunity of connecting with that. Sometimes, molding up this young boy we are talking about, who eventually become the man tomorrow, there are certain things, I would say there are strokes of rewards that are very vital. Do you see, I don't know whether you have a son, or even a neighbor or a friend and everything, a word like, that's what a man does. That's what it means to be a man. I see now you're becoming a man. You see those things? They mean a lot. A boy, child.
Oh, really?
They mean a lot. Because all that you are doing, you are qualified. And they really want to do more and more and more. So as I talk to this, I'm talking to the parents. Because the men that we are looking for, they are those children you have in your house.
That you need to affirm.
Yeah, we need to affirm. Because the one that are already grown up, we can help them to modify their behavior, their way of thinking, and there's a lot of work to be done there. But the man that we are looking for is in these little ones.
It's still young.
How we are dealing with them, communicating, you see, it's very, very, but unless a boy child, it needs that affirmation.
True, he does.
And also that association. You see simple words like, can you see your father how he does his things? Tomorrow he wants to be like his father.
Like his father.
Because he was taught.
Amazing, amazing. Edwin, growing up and getting into the world of I do.
Yeah.
when you look at your life, maybe the first year, second, third, until now got into 5 years, talking about, are you man enough to say, I do? That he was not, and he did not have people to say that they were men enough by the time they were walking down the aisle. What transitions have been there for you? Like, you now feel, no, I have changed a lot in this, or I wasn't so ready. What has changed? Did you get a shock on you, like, oh my God, I didn't expect it was like this. It would be like this, and now this is what it is. I have to deal with it.
Well, I had a couple of shocks, but I think, like both Emmanuel and Sam have said, the boy child needs a blueprint. And I come from a very different setting where my mom is the one who worked out of the country for long periods of time. She wasn't absent, but she worked out of the country. So I grew up with my dad. So everything I'm doing right now, how present my dad was, everything he did for us, I'm doing myself without anyone having to tell me, right? So I'm doing exactly what not what my dad told me to do, but what I saw him do, right? So kids ape more than they learn from what we tell them, right? So, like I said, even my kids right now, the things I say are part of what I say to them, or they hear me telling their mom and all that. So that blueprint is quite important. And for a child maybe, or a boy child who didn't have that blueprint growing up, a mentor is very important, right? I'm lucky enough, apart from my dad, I had mentors even in marriage. I met Emmanuel, I met my best man, also called Edwin, and they guided me through this process, right? And they told me, and I saw how they treated their families. So as much as I got some shocks, like for example, my first kids are twins, right? So hakuna ile ya when a child wakes up at night, mnagongana mguu, it's your turn. No, for us it was all hands on deck, right? There are nights I slept 3 hours and I still had to go to the office the following day.
I know.
But I had to be there, and I did, like I said, I did everything I saw my father do.
That's
right?
what your father was there
My
for
father
you
was
for.
present. Everything I'm doing now, everything I've done is what I saw him do. Maybe trying to be a bit better than he is.
A big fist punch for him.
This is a great man.
I know.
Yeah.
Wow.
Actually,
Fathers are not like that mostly.
A lot of couples or men that you see doing the right thing, a lot of them, their fathers were present. The reason that you're seeing also a huge, because the father is not present within the home. So a lot of people have nothing to look at and nothing to gauge, because, like he said, we ape what
Monkey
we see.
see, monkey do.
Monkey see, monkey do, exactly. So that's the most powerful thing. In fact, even when I talk about marriages, I tell them what you do in your marriage is, a huge percentage is based on what you saw growing up. You imitate that brokenness. If there was success, you do the same thing. I do the same thing that my father did, who was very present, just like his. So I had my children, like my dad. My dad kept us like this, like he protected us. He didn't even put us, he didn't even let us. So we do everything. It's me and my boys. My father was very strange for a person from where he comes from, where he used to show affection to my mom. I saw my father kiss my mother. I saw my father hug my mother. I had my father tell my mother, I love you. So here I am coming to my wife in public and kissing her and hugging, and then she's like, hi, what are you doing? I'm just like, this is what people do. But it's not what people do. But it's what you saw. It's what I saw. So I knew this is the norm. But it's not the norm apparently. And when I hear, and maybe I need to understand this a little bit more. And it's very powerful, that thing that he said.
Yeah. What is detailed in the I do, you know? Because when you want to walk down the aisle, people ask you, utaweza? You know? What is in that envelope of I do that people just fear to open, having been there 19 years?
I think it's the responsibility.
The responsibility.
You know, the responsibility is huge. The unknowns. Again, what he said, society has expectations and have put in us. Media expectations. So we are just seeing all these things, and you're looking at yourself and you just feel, can I measure up to that? When sometimes all it needs is for you to be just present and then learn on the process. I mean, I've shared this on the show before. Proverbs 24, 3-4. King Solomon is talking about how do you enjoy success or treasures, or fill your home with treasures. And he says these three components: knowledge. We talked about it earlier on before the show began. You know, we are perishing because of a lack of knowledge. So what are you learning about what this institution entails? What are you understanding? That's the third thing. And then what's the wisdom? And wisdom is just applied knowledge based on your understanding. So what are you applying based on what you've learned, if it's the right foundation? And who are you subscribing to? Are you subscribing to media, secular? Are you for this? I do. So depending on what you're subscribing, that is what you will enjoy within that space.
Okay.
But lack of knowledge, that's why a lot of relationships
That's what drains you. Some the family therapists, when people want to say I do, what is still locked up in that this
met and dealt with older generation, 60 years and above, trying to make up their lives, young generation, all sort of whatever. I'll put it this way. Who does it constitute to say I do? Of what the unknown. But however, there's one very important thing people need to understand, that there is part of yours, the moment you bring a partner into your life, there's a part of yourself you are going to surrender, kill, and forget forever. And you see, who shall...
I wonder which part.
Dies a miserable death.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And you see, those are the areas that end up bringing standoff.
That's what you need to know. That was a good one. That is what everyone who wants to say I do should know. That a part of them is going to die miserably and get married. Oh, that was too harsh. That was so painful. This is what you have to prepare.
Yes.
Oh my God. Not just the money.
No.
Not just to prepare that you may need a house and everything. But, oh my God, too sad.
Yeah,
Part of you has to go.
One of the lessons we learn is where you talk about there's a part you die to the self. And then the living and cleaving. When you live, you're detaching yourself from the past, but when you cleave, there are things from the past that you're going to remove from your life and adopt new ones based on what they're also bringing to the table. And then now this forms the constitution of what you live out your marriage. So yes, dying, like you said, is a miserable death, and you struggle with that.
You know, it's just that we're out of time, gentlemen. But this discussion was really interesting. Because when people say you shall live and she shall live and become one, I mean, if you're one and one, you become two. So it basically means like you have to come in half, or half of you has to die and half of her for you to be able to make one. It's half that makes one. It's not one. One makes two. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what I could hear you saying. But I would like to hear what your parting shots are, because we are out of time.
Yeah, so I'd maybe just like to end with that point. Part of growth is death to your older self. When a child is growing, atafinywa na kiatu or something like that, right? So for that child to get a new shoe, that shoe that he's wearing or he or she is wearing now has to have become small, and it's become small because the child has grown, right? So for you to grow into, you have to be willing to let go of your older self, so
Wow.
death
Powerful.
is important.
Bitter truth, honest truth. Emmanuel, your last words.
I think just maybe to add on to what he said, because that was a drop mic moment.
I know.
I think just to add on to what he's saying is, as there's a part of you dying, you constantly learn what it means to be a man, what it means to be a husband, what it means to be a father, so that you can actually say what, I am man enough to do, I do. And you have to be willing to conform. So that's the dying and taking on new things, just so that you can fit into this.
Wow. You cannot remain yourself and want to be the bigger person. Okay. Samuel.
For me, is an encouragement to men. Speak out. Don't operate under fear. Because we men, we have the tendency of seeing ourselves as if we are less. And that now can creep in fear. But I remind you one thing. We want men in our society. Let us allow ourselves. We be role model to each other. We be mentors to each other. We be teachers to each other. Let us come out the way we are. And women, let us begin now, not seeing only the negative things on men. Let us try to see the good things that, because in so doing, will God dropping the weaknesses and molding good and positive things altogether. So therefore then, remember, who is down there, they are looking upon the current men. So I encourage men again, drop the fear. Hold on that which you have and say, this is my working tool. And before you know it, the unknown will be greater for you.
Wow. Excellent, gentlemen. That was amazing. I truly appreciate that I was able to have you today. Thank you so much for watching Chungu cha Jamii on GBS TV today. I hope that you have taken some notes home, and especially the men. Jitokelezeni. I mean, come out, show up, and these guys are here ready to walk this journey with you. It has been a long time you have been hiding. Please show up and show the society that you are still alive, strong, and doing what you need to do. My name is Betty. I have been your host. See you next time.